Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today I want to give you 5 practical tips for your self-love, self-development, positive lifestyle journey. Okay, so this actually came to me as a request where someone was saying, look, I've been listening to your videos, I've been doing all this work, and I feel like I have all this knowledge of what self-love looks like, and I have all this understanding about like the spiritual journey and the awakenings and all that great stuff, but I don't know how to actually do it. I don't know what to actually do. And this question is kind of fun. So I am going to give you things to do, okay? Just so that you know, I am going to give you 5 things. I have them written down here. However, I also want you to understand that the self-love journey and the awakening journey, the spiritual journey, the self-progression journey, self-realization journey, whatever you want to call it, it is something that's going to pull you along. Okay, so you don't actually need me to give you 5 things to do. You don't, because if you're someone who's even got this on your radar, if you're someone who's even decided that this is something you want to do, if you're someone who believes that this is something that's right and it calls you, like I say, the thing is, it's going to call you, it's going to pull you, you're going to get there regardless. Okay, so you don't actually need me to tell you 5 things to do. Okay, if you just commit to the idea that I want to learn to love myself, I really want to learn to love myself, and that's it. And even if in that you admit that, like, okay, maybe right here, right now, I don't know how, I'm not doing it, I don't really love myself. Just being that radically honest with yourself, and then saying, okay, like, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to change. The path is going to pull you. Things are going to come into your life. You're going to know what to do. Okay? So, and then if you don't know what to do, that's okay. Just be in that space. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you're not losing anything and you're not doing it wrong. It's just that's where you are and that's perfect. And so I just wanted to kind of preface it with that. However, maybe you're watching this video and you ask the universe, how do I do it? And maybe this is your answer. Maybe this is what comes to you. Maybe this is your path. So I do have 5 things that I will give you about how to start loving yourself, okay? So, number 1 thing, tip number 1, is to start a positive aspects journal. And this is actually my favorite thing to start with because it is so amazing for rewiring your brain and rewiring how you think about yourself, okay? So like I've said in many other videos, our tendency in our culture is to absolutely focus on everything that we're failing at, right? On everything that we're not doing, on everything we haven't accomplished, on all of our flaws. And then the second we actually do anything good or do anything awesome, like say we randomly have a really good day of eating one day or something and we feel really good, or we've exercised for a week, or we practiced yoga, or we meditated or something. We do something that's like on our list of, you know, this lofty, if I was this perfect person, these are the things that I would do. Rather than celebrating that, rather than saying like, wow, that was really awesome, or even like when we're nice to someone or we open the door for somebody or whatever, we don't think like, that was really good, that was really nice, like, way to go. We think, okay, new 0 point. Now, anytime I don't do that thing, so I don't celebrate it, it's not good, it's not awesome that I did it, it's just that now, if I don't do that thing, I'm a piece of shit, right? And so we're constantly berating ourselves, and then that carrot of I'll be good enough when is constantly dangling out in front of our faces because we never give ourselves credit for anything that we actually do, and therefore we continually feel like pieces of crap, right? Because all we're doing is focusing on our failings, and then whenever we do anything good, we don't acknowledge that. So we're doing good things all the time, but we never acknowledge it, and therefore it's not a part of our wiring, it's not a part of our self-image, and therefore we just think we're terrible. And then it's really hard to love someone that you think is terrible. So this is why the Positive Aspects Journal is so important. So every single night you set a timer for 15 minutes where you write down the things that you like and appreciate about yourself, okay? And the timer is important because it's super easy to be like, I like my hair, I like my face, whatever, I said something nice. And you journal it for like 2 seconds, you don't feel anything, right? So if you set that timer and you sit there and you really start to say like, okay, here, like, and yes, it can be things that you did, okay? So this is not necessarily about like, okay, well, I gotta find like the things about me that are just permanent and unchanging and I can't actually acknowledge anything that I've done. It's like, no, you acknowledge anything good about yourself, okay? I brushed my teeth twice today. Way to go. I remembered to pack my own lunch. I opened the door for someone today. I said thank you to the person at the coffee shop instead of just taking my coffee and walking away. I looked someone in the eye today and acknowledged them. Anything. Anything. And then you can say, like, I love my hair, I love my face, I like my arms, I like how sweet I am, I like how thoughtful I am, I like blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter, right? You just set a timer for 15 minutes. Do this for 30 days, okay? And watch your life change dramatically, okay? Second thing. Now, this is kind of my favorite tool, so I know that people don't necessarily watch the whole video, so I hope you've at least made it to number 2. So number 2 is actually sit down and create a list of your idea of perfection. Okay, so your idea of perfection in your body, your idea of perfection in your relationships, your idea of perfection in your job, your idea of perfection in what your life should look like in general, your idea of perfection in your friendships, all of these things, right? Make an actual list of, if I were to actually be at my perfection, what would that look like? And for some of you, you're going to get there and you'll be like, I don't even know, right? Because like I say, so many of us have this idea that we don't even know what our perfection looks like, right? We don't actually know what the goal is. We're just constantly aware that we're not even at it, that we're not at it, right? And so again, we're beating ourselves up all the time on this like constant rat race of striving when we don't even know where we're going, okay? So number 1, sit down and actually write out, what is this ideal that I'm striving for? What is this perfection that I think I need to have? What is the life and the self-image and the way that I'm supposed to be that I'm not, that I'm failing at every single day? And what would it look like if I actually got there? Okay? And so if you can't even do that, that's a clue, okay? And then if you can, so do that, write that all down, and then ask yourself, where did these ideas come from? Why do I think I have to be like this? Why is this the expectation? And is me striving towards these things making me happier? Or is me striving towards these things constantly reminding me of how shitty I am, right? And if you get to the idea, if you get there and you realize that, okay, number 1, do I even want these things? Are these things actually going to make me happy, or do these things just ideas that I've accepted that might make me happy? And I really want you to just reflect on this list of your ideal. And I want you to say, okay, is this bringing me happiness? Is this creating the life that I want? Is this making me love myself more here in the moment? Or are these things making it impossible for me to love me in the moment? And if these things are making it impossible for you to love you in the moment, I really want you to critically question them as being something that maybe you don't actually want. Okay? Because here's the thing. The journey of self-love is I love myself, and that love begets love, begets love, begets love, begets love, begets love. Okay? The journey of self-love is not, here's my ideal, I'm going to hate myself all the way until I get there, and then I'm going to love myself when I'm there. That's not how it works, okay? It's, you got to start loving yourself here in this moment. So if you're holding on to a whole bunch of ideas of things that I can't love myself until I'm here, I need you to question that, okay? So just question it. Where did those ideas come from? Why can't you love yourself until you're there? What would that even look like? How will you know when you've got it, right? Really look at your ideas of perfection and question them. And I'm not going to tell you what to do after that, because you just taking the time to actually write down your ideals and actually question them is going to open a whole Pandora's box for you. That's really important, okay? So write down your ideas of things that are your perfection and question them. Okay, number 3. Start to think about how you're thinking about yourself, right? How you, what you say to yourself on a daily basis, like when you wake up in the morning and when you're maybe lacking motivation, or when you're feeling sad, or when you're feeling lonely, or when you're feeling guilty, or when you're feeling jealous, or when you're feeling any negative emotion. And I want you to just pay attention to the way that you're reacting and responding to yourself. And then I want you to ask yourself, is this how I would speak to my best friend if they brought this to me? Okay? And if this is not how you would speak to your best friend if they brought it to you, I want you to catch that. And I want you to say, okay, what would I say to my best friend? So if my best friend came up to me and was like, I'm feeling really lonely and sad today, would you say to her, stop it, that's not spiritual, you shouldn't be like that, like, whatever, you have all these awesome things in your life, you're so silly for thinking that, and just like, get over yourself? Probably not, right? Otherwise, maybe you don't have a whole lot of friends if you act like that, right? So you would probably say to her like, honey, I'm so sorry. You're lovely, you're beautiful, you're perfect, there's nothing wrong with you. You can love you. I love you. I think you're amazing, right? And I want you to start to say, okay, what if I were to speak to myself the way that I speak to my best friend when they come to me with things, right? What if I were actually to address my friends the way that I would, what if I were to actually address myself the way that I would address my friends? And then if you notice that when you get around your friends and they come to you with sad stuff, you actually do lash out at them like that, again, that's just a reflection that you're just afraid of those emotions and you're afraid of those things, and that's okay. So again, how can you love yourself and say, like, basically what I would say is, okay, I'm afraid of these emotions, clearly. When they come up in other people, when they come up in myself, I push them away and I try and fix them, I try and get rid of them. That's okay. Right? That's how I would like to speak to my best friend. So then again, so if you don't actually speak to your best friend the way that you would want to, how would I prefer to speak to my best friend? Or how would I love my lover, my absolute ideal best friend, or my absolute ideal partner to speak to me when I'm in this circumstance? What would I actually want from somebody when I'm feeling like this and I go to them and I say, like, look, I'm feeling lonely and shitty? And what is the reply that I would like? Start to reply to yourself like that, okay? So step number 3 is when you're down, when you're sad, when you're lacking motivation, when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to go work out or whatever, and you start to berate yourself, you ask yourself, okay, how would I actually speak to my best friend? Or how would I want a lover or someone who is my best friend to speak to me? And how can I start to practice speaking to myself like that? Okay, so that's number 3. Good, we got time. All right, and then number 4. Okay, 4. Practicing self-awareness with the intention of learning to love what you find, rather than having the intention of trying to fix whatever you're going to find. Okay, so again, yoga, meditation, journaling, going in and finding out what's going on inside of you. These are all awesome things, but if you're going around in there digging around with like your little flashlight just to like point out all the things that are wrong with you, you're not going to be a safe space for yourself to grow. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand, is that growth happens in a love environment. Growth happens in a safe environment. When we feel threatened, when we feel scared, when we feel isolated, when we feel like we're being nitpicked, we hunker down and we stay the same. Okay? We defend ourselves, we don't show ourselves our actual true self. And this is the problem with our kind of Western society. We all are walking around with our little flashlights and our little notebooks and our check system and saying like, okay, like I'm gonna go look inside myself and I'm gonna find all the things that are wrong with me and I'm gonna make sure that I'm aware of that. And so what I'm saying is, if you were to do your self-inquiry with the first idea that you're not messed up, you're not broken, you're not going in to find all the things that are wrong with you, okay? You're going in to discover all the things about you that there are to love, right? So if you go in with that intention, I'm doing my inner work, going in with the intention that I am worthy of love, that I am deserving of love, and I'm looking for the reasons to love myself, rather than going in looking for the reasons to not love yourself. This will be a huge shift for you, okay? So switch your intention when you're doing your self-inquiry, when you're doing your practices. I'm going in with the intention of figuring out what there is to love about me, not with the intention of figuring out what there is to fix about me, okay? Make that your intention when you're doing your self-inquiry, and everything will change, I promise, okay? And now, number 5, starting to listen to how things feel inside your body. Okay? So when you think thoughts, how does it feel inside my body? Does it feel contracting? Does it feel scary? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel dense? When I do something, when I'm with someone, when I'm at my job, when I'm at blah, 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 the stories that I'm telling myself, do they make me feel tense, tight, sad, angry, lonely, blah? Or do they make me feel light, bright, energetic, open heart, awesome? Okay? And now, just noticing that, and then not labeling either one of these things as good or bad, okay? Because both of these experiences are going to happen for the rest of your life. What I want you to do in the area of self-love is say, okay, the things that feel terrible inside my body, those are the things I'm going to start to question. Okay? Those are the things I'm going to start to say, okay, am I thinking something that's out of alignment with the truth of who I am? Right? Am I thinking something that's out of alignment with the love that I am? Am I putting myself in a situation over and over and over again that's out of alignment with me protecting my, like loving myself and making myself feel safe and making myself feel honored? Am I trying to force myself that is a square peg into a round hole? Right? Where am I forcing myself to do things that feel terrible, to think things that feel terrible, rather than doing things and thinking things that feel good? And just questioning those things that feel bad. So rather than saying, okay, yep, I gotta do this. It feels awful, but it's the thing. Or, every time I think this thought, it feels terrible, but I gotta keep thinking it because it's true. I want you to just say, okay, anything that feels terrible inside my body, anything that feels contracting, constricting, like yucky, heavy, bleh, I'm gonna question that. Okay, just question it. Again, just bring it to the surface to see what's going on here. How can I love this? How can I find a new level of respect and honoring myself rather than like getting mad at myself for feeling bad or getting mad at myself for feeling low energy or berating myself or da 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 da. It's like, okay, how can I love myself through this? How can I question? Maybe my body is telling me something that is valuable information. And I'm just going to start to tune in with my body. I'm just going to start to tune in with my body. I'm just going to start to tune in with my body. I'm going to notice the things that feel bad and I'm going to question them rather than just saying that that's just how it is. Okay? So those are my 5 tips. So number 1, positive aspects journal. Number 2, you're going to look at your list of perfection and question it. Where did that come from? Does this actually make me happy? Is this really what I want? Blah, blah, blah. Okay? Number 3 is, what would I say to my best friend, or what would I want my deepest, most loving best friend to say to me when I'm in the situation that I'm in? Okay? Number 4 is practicing self-awareness with the intention of finding what to love about yourself rather than with the intention of finding all the things you're going to fix about yourself. And number 5 is tuning in with your body. How does it feel in your body? And I'm going to question it if it feels terrible. Okay? So those are 5 practical things that you can do, but you got to do them. Okay? That's the thing. You have to actually do them if they're going to work. All right? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. Like, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Perception Trainers. Follow me on Instagram, Ali_Perception Trainers. If you have any video requests, let me know about that. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks.